Hello everyone, my name is Emily Artful, and today I'm going to go over 5 ways to help you tackle and hopefully overcome art block. Before we dive into this video, I want to issue a bit of a disclaimer. If you believe you're experiencing art block because of a serious mental health issue, please don't ever feel guilty for not being able to create art. It's not fair for me or anyone else to put pressure on you to create when you are battling with something much more important. Please take care of yourself first, and remember that most of us YouTubers are not qualified to give you any medical advice. This video is just for fun and to help us all take a second look at our approach to creating. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Tip number 1, the Draw It Again Challenge. This is one of those timeless art challenges that is not only a challenge, but a feel-good way to see improvement. It's also great because it gives you a ready-made piece to either copy exactly or improve upon. Try going through old sketchbooks or portfolios to find something that is overall completed, but not too complicated. A lot of what art block is intimidation, whether that be intimidation by what we perceive as our own inferiority, or by the actual blank page itself. A lot of the time coming up with this negative thought of what could we possibly draw, and even if we did draw, would it even be good? Using a ready-made idea, you already have your blueprints, so it eliminates having to come up with an idea since it's just revisiting something you've already done. You're also bound to improve upon something no matter how much time has passed. Your mind is always evolving and can find ways to improve even as soon as you've finished a piece. It's a great way to give yourself a confidence boost all on your own without needing any external validation. Tip number 2, shapes and doodling. Have you ever been in a bar or a restaurant and just started drawing random shapes onto a napkin? You know what I'm talking about, where you go over your star so many times you've carved it into the table, and the manager's like, "Ma'am, you're gonna have to leave," and you're like, "I'm so sorry, I can pay for the damage to the table," and then they're like, "No ma'am, you need to leave because you're not wearing any pants," and then you're like, "How rude, -5 stars on Yelp." You get the idea. Sometimes mindless doodling is a great way to get the creative juices flowing. You can start out with a large basic shape and randomly doodle around inside or outside of the shape, like a Zentangle. If you are so art blocked you cannot even think of a shape, think of a number between 1 and 10. Okay, you got it. Okay, here's your shape. I know a buttload of you are going to pick 7, so I gave you a ridiculous shape. Live with your choices! Another great bonus of mindlessly doodling is helping to warm up the muscles and your mind. Just like any other activity, it's always a good idea to warm up before drawing a final piece. Tip number 3, Scrumble. Nope. Tip number 3, Scribble. Similar to the last one, this tip involves mindless doodling, but unlike the last one, there is a lot more thought put into your overall execution. Start out by closing your eyes and drawing a scribble. Alternatively, you can have a friend or family member draw a scribble for you, or even a DeBabes. DeBabeses are very good at scribbling. Once the scribble is completed, take a good look at what kind of shapes have formed. From that, draw whatever image comes to mind. It doesn't have to make sense either. It could be a tree with feet for hands, or a foot with hands for trees, of course. This technique will help stimulate the imagination and encourage more dynamic thinking. Tip number 4, go somewhere else to draw. This one may not seem very art-related, but just hang tight and you'll see what I mean. A great way to start fresh with minimal effort is by traveling locally. It helps the mind to step out of your familiar surroundings and to experience the excitement of new places. One of the most relaxing places for me to sketch and paint is in nature. It's peaceful, refreshing ambiance, and lots of attractive subjects for me to draw, like foliage and landscapes. Sometimes the bustle of a coffee shop is helpful, or the alluring aromas of a bakery, the calm ebbing and flowing of waves on the beach. Even just sitting out on your balcony or porch can give you the change you need. Give your senses a bit of a break from your everyday life by going outside of the comfort of your own home. Sometimes the best way to persevere is to take a step back and breathe. It's also incredibly helpful in a multitude of ways to draw what is around you. It not only automatically gives you a subject to draw, it also helps to sharpen your abilities through practice. Tip number 5, revisit some of your favorite artists' artwork. For some people, this tip may not be helpful. If you're the kind of person who tends to feel discouraged by looking at artists who may potentially have more experience than you do, I'd recommend disregarding this tip. You may also want to watch my You Are Not an Artist video for a little pep talk. I know the title doesn't sound very promising, but I assure you it's not what it sounds like. It's actually all about how to feel better about yourself as an artist at any level. Anyway, a really good way to get yourself in a drawing mood is to drown yourself in art-related content. Go look at your favorite artist's social media, browse your favorite pieces, take in what they're doing. Put yourself in a good headspace by looking at art that makes you feel good. Hopefully, with enough inspiration, you'll want to create art that makes you feel good too. This leads me to my bonus tip. Draw what you like to draw. Don't let yourself get bogged down by thinking of what you should be drawing or what you should be practicing. Draw what makes you feel happy, and then when you feel back on track, you will be way more susceptible to absorbing the knowledge from practicing. Now, do not get me wrong, if you want to be a professional artist, there are things you need to have a good grasp on in order to improve. All about the hustle, baby. But if you're able to approach these things with a clear head, you will be much more successful at developing your skills. Well, those are all my tips for how to help tackle art block. I hope they'll be as helpful to you guys as they are to me. This video was brought to you in part by Skillshare.com. Skillshare is an awesome and interactive website dedicated to helping you learn a new skill. They've got thousands of video classes available from art to business and more. What's also great about Skillshare is that they're more affordable than most learning platforms out there. Their annual subscription is less than $10 a month. That's way cheaper than most people's monthly coffee expense, and even cheaper than DeBabe's monthly diaper and formula expense. He's a ravenous glutton. Being a mother to a 10-month-old demon baby, I don't have the luxury to leave the house to take a physical class, but with Skillshare, I can have access to their online classes virtually anywhere. Yes, even when I'm wrist-deep in baby poops. It's not advisable, but I could do it if I wanted to. Today's piece was made in part with the help of a class I took on paper cutting. The class is called Cut It Out, an introduction to paper cutting, taught by Kip Purdue. Also, quick side note, Kip Purdue, is that not the most secret superhero name you have ever heard? Fighting crime, one paper at a time, I'll cut you. I'm Kip Purdue. Anyway, this technique created beautiful dimension and contrast to my painting, as well as adding an interactive component. Wait, interactive? I'm just one step closer to weird, screaming, spaghetti-o performance art. Hooray! My life will have meaning again. Meaning through interpretive dance. The first 500 people to click the link in the description will get their first 2 months of Skillshare Premium membership for free. Don't feel like you need an inordinate amount of time or money to learn a new skill. Skillshare can help you do it affordably and on your own time. So go ahead and join today. Thank you very much to Skillshare, obviously, for sponsoring this 3-part series on how to improve your art health. The next video in the series will premiere on Friday, August 31st, and the final installment, which may have a personal component to it, will premiere on Friday, September 28th. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to stay out of trouble. See you guys later.